So now that we have a pretty good database going, including a dashboard, we'd like to look at a little bit more enhanced functionality. What I'd like to do is put a series of charts or graphs on a blank form called leading indicators, so that when I open that particular form, it's going to show me all the updated data in a graphical format. It'll be a little bit hard to spot lots of trends every single day out of your data, but graphs and charts certainly make that possible. So I'm going to show you how to do that. First of all, let's close the dashboard, and then create. We're going to create a form design, so that'll be a blank form. Now maximize the size of this area as big as you think you can make it, whatever your screen is. And generally it's gonna, you can go up to 11, 12 inches to the right, probably 7, 8 inches to the bottom, and that'll be fine. So first thing is I want to put my company logo, so insert image. Now I already have it up here, but you can certainly click browse to wherever you stored it. Click. Let's put it up here, nice and tidy. And I also want to put a title, so click on this button up here in the design tab, and let's call this leading indicators metrics. Right, click outside, click back in the box, go to format, and let's change the size to about 28 and make this box as big as you need to make it. And of course you can always change the colors of it as well. So let's move that over, and that looks pretty good. So I want to change the background color as well. So if I right click, fill back color, I think I'll make it this color over here. Okay. Now in the design tab, here's what we want to do. We want to click the chart button, right? Click over here, and first thing it's going to ask you is where is the data coming from that you want depicted on the chart or graph. Now you can choose any of the master tables with all the data on it, but if you have some specific queries that you've done and you only want to drive the chart with that data, you can pick that as well. So only that data will be shown, right? So I'll do the main one. Let's go to tables, orders master, click next, and it's going to ask you what is it that you want to see on the chart. So let's do a simple one. I want to see the product name. We have 3 products, and let's do the revenue. Okay, put that over there. So 2 items, click next, and there's a whole lot of different types over here, very similar to Excel but a little bit different. In fact, Microsoft hasn't kept up with the really good functionality of charting in Excel with Access. This is a little bit more basic. There's some types obviously you don't want to use, but the most common are column, area, line, scatter, and pie or donut, right? So let's do a pie. A very simple one over here. Click next. You don't have to mess with this. This is simply allowing you to put product down here and revenue here by dragging and dropping these. We're going to leave it the way it is. Click next. Click finish. And you've got a chart. Now it doesn't really have the information that reflects your data. So what you have to do, and I don't know why you have to do it, you just have to do it, is just click out here, save this, and we'll call this leading indicators. Give it a good name, and go to this view, and it will just update it for you. See, we got our 3 products, Bring Up, Fluky, Indigo, and of course the pie. So now let's go back to design view. Now here's a trick. Let's move this over and make it as big as you think you can, so that you would leave space for other charts that you might want, right? So that's pretty good. Now a couple of things I want to change. Double click inside this white space, and I could click on this legend here. You see, I can move it around if I want. And if I go up to the top, I could change the font size. So let's make that a little bit smaller. I can click on the title and change the title as well. So this will be revenue by product. And of course you can change the chart as well. So if I click on the chart, I could now right click, format data series, and there's a whole lot of options here that you want to kind of play around with. So different color schemes, lines, weights, and so on. So you can actually take away the line altogether if you wanted to, right? So you can say none, and it will become a floating type of a chart. So let's do that, none. Not much for an axis here. This is more for a line or a column chart. Data labels you can put. So let's put any one of these, the name of the series, the name of the company, the value, the percentage. I'm going to put percentage. And I probably will put a new line here as well. And in the options, there's a whole bunch of different options that you can choose here as well. Click OK, and that looks pretty good, right? So I could now take these values and put them inside if I wanted to. That might look interesting, right? Click, and again I'm clicking very carefully on each one. So if you click on one, you have to click on it again, right? So put it inside there, click over here, and let's say I want to change the color of this one here. So I can click on that slice, click on that slice again, and up here in your paint bucket, let's change it to, let's say, red, right? And move that out just a little bit, just to signify that's a special piece. There we go, we've got ourselves a chart. Now you want to play around with your design. Actually, you know what, I'm going to change the yellow here as well and change the background from white to match up with this to make it more transparent. So click up here in format, there's a shape fill button. Let's click that, and I think that's the color that we chose. Yeah, click on, double click over here, click on the yellow, and let's change the yellow to black. Actually not black, that's not good. Let's change it to green. Okay, perfect, that's a good chart right there. Okay, now let's do one more. Click out here, let's go to design, chart, and I'll put it down here. This time I want to go from orders master. I want to see the order date, and let's see the quantity shipped, so which would be over here, quantity, right? And we'll just throw one more in there as well. We'll do it order date and product, all three of them together. Next, let's do a bar, next, next, and finish. Now, looks pretty okay right now. I want to make it a little bit bigger, just like that. Stretch it out as nice as you can. And remember, the chart doesn't necessarily reflect what's in your data until you save it and view it. Okay, there we go. So that looks pretty good. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm going to make a few changes to it. So let's go back to design view, double click right in here, and we'll change the title. And we'll call this quantity by month. Now the other thing is, if I click, let's say, on this yellow bar right there, I can change the color of that, and let's change that to black. And I'm going to click on the purple one and change that to red. Now I'm going to snazz this up just a bit. Double click on here again, right click on one of the red ones, and chart type. So you can now mix these around. So I'm going to add column for the other ones, and let's change this red one to line. Okay, and you want to play around with these. There we go. Now double click on the line because it's not the right color and it's not thick enough. So double click on it, and you'll see the colors over here. Maybe we'll change that to a green and change the weight to really thick, and let's see what that looks like. Okay, so that looks pretty good, right? It's showing me the trends, the indicators, and so on. And I could also just, you know, kind of right click over here and do chart options, and I could put in my main title, quantity by month. My x-axis title down here is month. My y-axis title here would be quantity, and I could change the axis if I want. So these items here by different intervals. I could put grid lines, change the legend, put in some labels. So I could do value. That might be a little bit too much, I think, so let's leave that out. And of course I could show the table if I wanted to as well, so the data shows up at the bottom. For that you need to make the chart pretty darn big, so let's not do that. Okay, let's click OK and see what we've got. That's pretty good. I like it. Don't forget, go to format, change the background, and that looks actually pretty darn good. Okay, so that's good. Let's do one more over here. So in the design tab, chart, click. This time I want to take the data from the query. So the query called WSB sales is going to drive the chart itself. Only that data will appear on the chart. So as the query data changes on a daily basis, the chart will also update. So let's do that. I want to see customer, and let's do quantity. Okay, next, let's do a donut this time. Next, and finish. Let's take a look. Let's make this as big as we can. I think that fits in nicely right there. There we go. Now obviously it doesn't look like what you want. That's okay, don't worry. Save it. Go to that view. And that does the trick. You've got your 3 different customers, the various slices of the donut. Let's make some changes. Go back to design view. Double click. And let's change the title. Call this large customer shipments. Now, I want to change the color of this yellow, so click on it again, and let's change it to black. Actually, let's change it to red, and let's put some values in as well. So click out here, right click, format data series, and again you can play around with all of these different things. So I'm going to say no line. Axis, there's not much to choose. Data labels, let's put a percentage with a line. And in the options, there's something interesting. You see that little round part in the middle? You can make that bigger or smaller by changing the donut hole size. So I want to make that about 65. Click OK. And you see the numbers show up, but they don't look terribly good. So I'm going to click on a number here, click on it again, and just nudge it out. Same with this one, nudge it out. And if you just click on it for the first time and hold your mouse button down, it makes it a lot easier. There we go. And you could actually just click on it again and change the size maybe down to 10, and that might look a little bit better. And remember, you can always put graphics inside here, put pictures and so on. Change the pattern. Now I'm just going to change the color of this yellow. Again, I'm not sure what happened there. Let's change it to red. There we go. Okay. Click out here, and let's change the format background color to this, and that looks pretty good. Okay. Stretch it out a bit. So use a series of kind of borders and things like that, rectangles, whatever it is you need to make this look perfect. I'm just going to finish off by doing the rectangles that I like so much, and just put one all the way around. Make it look a little bit nicer. Okay. So let's save it. Let's have a look. Okay, so it looks okay. You might not like it. You might want to do something different. You could have a whole series of these, so a whole lot of different metrics related to, let's say, shipments, sales, different customers, different drivers, etc. So let's close this, and one more thing. Go to Dashboard, go to Design View, and I want to put a button here that takes me to the leading indicators. So from the Design tab, Button, click down here, the Form Operation, that opens a form. And remember, earlier we did a macro that closes the dashboard and opens a form, and vice versa. Okay, it is the leading indicators form, and you know what, let's give it a different name. Let's call it metrics. So the button will be called metrics, and finish. And there's my button. I just quickly make it look a little bit consistent and drop in a rectangle, and I think that should work. So let's save it, and let's take a look. So the first time you open Access first thing in the morning, Dashboard's the first screen to open up. You want to see your leading indicators because the data was updated overnight. I click on Metrics, and it shows me the patterns, the trends, what is it that I'm looking for. So anything I spot, that's what I need to fixate on today, focus on it, and also fix it. And maybe just sit here and say, hey, everything is great. Let's have a great day. Okay, so play around with these, and you can do a whole series of these and just make your database pop out.